All right, this is the copyright disclaimer. The copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Fair use, fair use, fair use. Medical disclaimer. This video is for informational purposes only and is not intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. Always consult with your physician before starting any exercise program or anything contained in this video. Always stop if you experience any pain, discomfort, or difficulties performing anything described in this video.
Alert now, a new Consumer Reports investigation has found heavy metals and toxic chemicals in popular braiding hair products for the second time. Calls are now intensifying for federal oversight and industry accountability. And this, of course, is raising serious concerns for many women, particularly women of color. Family doctor Jen Cottle is live with us.
You know, this is something that's not new, unfortunately. We're seeing again that when a lot of braiding products, often used by women of color, when they're tested, we're often finding potentially harmful chemicals. No, downright harmful chemicals, things like volatile compounds or heavy metals, cancer-causing chemicals. I mean, this is not right. This is not okay. We've also seen this when it comes to things like hair extensions, also hair relaxers, many products that women of color use. You know, one thing I'll say is that, you know, for many women of color, for many Black women, braids, as an example, it's cultural, right? It's not, say, just vanity or preferring a style. It's often part of our culture. I don't know many Black women who've never had braids at some point in their life. And the idea that much of the hair used for braiding could contain these products really makes me concerned for children, for hairdressers, for people who wear braids consistently. There's a lot we don't know. I'm not really sure about the oversight of these products. I don't know what regulatory bodies exist. I don't know how much oversight there is, but there certainly needs to be more, and there needs to be better production and safer production of these products. I encourage us all to advocate for this and to speak up. You know, I also say, you know, I think it's hard to know which brands are probably best. I think it's a bit of the wild, wild west. Consumer Reports has done some evaluation. If you're able to find other evidence-based sources, that's a way to go as well. But maybe, you know, consider spacing out your braids. Consider using gloves to put in braids if you are a hairdresser. Consider looking for brands based on some of the data we have that may suggest that the product may be safer. But again, I'm not sure how much data we even have. So, you know, not to be a Debbie Downer, but I'm just saying this is an issue. This needs to be changed. This needs to be different. And Black women and women of color, we deserve better.
Emergency.
A new study finds harmful cancer-causing chemicals in certain synthetic braiding hair products. Channel 2's Audrey Washington spoke with some health experts and social justice scholars about why those harmful products, Audrey, are mostly marketed to Black women.
Right. The report about cancer-causing chemicals found in synthetic braiding hair is sending shockwaves through the beauty industry. But now some health professionals believe these products that are targeted to Black women and girls specifically are a form of environmental racism.
You can dress it up or down because of the curls.
By now, we've all seen them. The flashy beauty supply ads usually displayed in Black neighborhoods that promote braiding hair products. But recently, some of those products were tested and the results are disturbing.
Not knowing if I may be a candidate of cancer in the future or now, I don't know.
A Consumer Reports study found cancer-causing chemicals in all 10 brands of braiding hair tested. 3 had the chemical benzene.
Benzene is mostly linked to leukemias.
Chemist and Emory University professor of environmental health, Carmen Marcet, explained how the chemical disrupts the body.
And it's this chemical that can go in and bind to your DNA and lead to mutations. And so it's that what could go on to form a cancer.
We reached out to all 10 companies whose products were tested. Only 2 responded. Both companies stated their products are safe and questioned the testing methods. But Dr. Marcet says benzene doesn't need to be ingested in order to be harmful.
It's near your face, so that's in your breathing zone.
In 2024, I first spoke with Dr. Marcet after the FDA proposed a ban on certain chemical hair straighteners that were found to cause cancer. Those products mostly marketed and used by Black women and girls. So I had to ask, is the placement of these products in majority Black communities a form of environmental racism?
I think it plays a big part. I mean, it's really a history of these types of products being marketed to Black women.
It's the pollutant, it's the toxin.
Professor Dr. Tara Taylor with Morehouse College.
I would definitely say that racism is at the core with regards to when any time a particular group is disproportionately impacted.
This is, in my mind, a public health emergency.
Dermatologist Dr. Aaliyah Brown has treated patients who developed serious scalp and hand rashes from synthetic braids. She says the rashes combined with the new cancer risk should sound health alarms nationwide.
Unfortunately, there also are some biases that exist with healthcare and people of color and disparities.
Hairstylist Dion James tells me she developed health issues after decades of braiding and inhaling fumes from synthetic hair.
I have suffered from benign tumors, so now I'm starting to think that maybe it may correlate to the hair.
Is this braiding hair poisoning Black women?
Of course it is.
10 popular synthetic braiding hair products were tested. The results are troubling. Every sample contained carcinogens, chemicals that may cause cancer.
3 of the samples tested positive for benzene, a carcinogen that is highly regulated and discouraged for use in laboratories because of the potential to cause cancer.
James Rogers, who led CR's synthetic hair testing, says testing found lead in 90% of the products.
There is no safe levels of lead. Our risk assessments and exposure models indicate that for users of these 9 products, they could be exposed to concerning levels of lead over time.
The risks don't stop there. When the hair is dipped in hot water during installation, a standard practice, it releases volatile organic compounds, or VOCs, that can irritate eyes, throat, and lungs.
Is this braiding hair poisoning Black women?
Of course it is.
Benzene is a chemical that is in a category called volatile organic compound. These are known substances that are harmful to our body. So this is not a new finding that this is a harmful chemical. It's a new finding that it's in these synthetic braids. This chemical specifically can attach to one's DNA, and it can cause a variety of disruptions in your body. Not only can it be a carcinogen, which is cancer causing, but it can also lead to hormonal instability. It can also give rise to a variety of autoimmune conditions. It is a DNA disruptor. And if you disrupt how the DNA is formed, that's when cancer is formed. The EPA and FDA have already labeled these chemicals as cancer causing. It's just outrageous that our community has to choose between trying to do a protective style and trying to keep their health as a priority.
This is why y'all Black women be crazy.
We've been tracking closely potentially harmful chemicals making their way into braiding hair and extensions that are often marketed to Black women. By some estimates, over 70% of Black women use hair extensions or weaves at least once a year. Now, new data released this month is shining a light on the potential risks of these cosmetic products. I spoke with the researchers behind these 2 new studies. A style often deemed as protective for Black women is now under scrutiny as 2 new studies warn of health risks in hair extensions. On Tuesday, Consumer Reports revealing new findings that human, synthetic, and plant-based hair extensions from 30 brands have volatile organic compounds or heavy metals like lead.
Human hair, by far, had the most lead that we've ever seen in testing these products, orders of magnitude above synthetic hairs.
The study looked at 3 samples of each brand, and there were some exceptions. One product with no heavy metals, another with low heavy metals.
So that tells us that these manufacturers can make a safer product.
Nearly a year ago, we spoke with medical student Crystal Thomas, whose commentary on braiding hair led to Consumer Reports' first analysis.
I noticed my hair was itchy and it was just difficult to breathe overall.
Now, research is expanding. The Silent Spring Institute, a scientific research nonprofit, testing 43 hair extension products.
we found chemicals in these products that are associated with cancer, reproductive harm, and also birth defects.
So we're starting to see here now, ladies, black women, you putting them weaves in your hairs. That's the reason why some of y'all getting cancer. That's the reason why y'all getting sick. It's because researchers have found hundreds of distinct chemical signatures, including flame retardants, pesticides, and volatile organic compounds that appears in cancer-causing, hormone-disrupting, or otherwise harmful chemicals in your weave. This is why y'all black women be crazy. This is why y'all be acting ghetto. It's because your hair is making you crazy. So now when y'all be talking about markets, stop talking about black women. Y'all need to stop wearing them weaves. Research says that you are putting stuff in your head close to your brain that has heavy metals, that has all these compounds, and it disrupts your hormones, and it can cause cancer. Use your real hair. That's basically what I want to say. Stop trying to be somebody that you're not. Stop listening to these rappers. Stop. No. Your hair is what's making you crazy, black women. You're welcome. So don't go on my comments and talk about you just hating. This is research. This is science. This is what happens when you do your research and you read a book. That stuff that y'all put in, that fake stuff, is what's killing y'all. It's what's making y'all crazy.
Main girls complaining about black men not accepting natural hair and white people not accepting natural hair are the same exact ones whose natural hair you've never seen. Funny, you cannot demand respect for something that you refuse to represent. So a lot of black women don't quite know who they are because they're living in the shadow of other women that they see online. Consistently see a lot of black women who have a particular look who tend to claim and brag about being crazy. Ma'am, the human hair that you are wearing is what's making you crazy. Some black women who wear wigs and weaves for protecting their hair. And then you have some black women who prioritize wigs and weave, but use the whole excuse of we're protecting our hair, as their reason for why they do so. However, when you are consistently wearing human hair and wigs, you are not just switching up your style. You're attaching yourself to someone else's energy, identity, and spirit. This isn't me having hate for wigs or weaves or the girls who wear it. I just feel like if it's something that as a black woman you prioritize, stop screaming so loud about people not accepting it. Because it gets to a point to where it looks like you're projecting. You don't accept it. You can't even represent it. Oh, it looks better on the next black girl, not you, because I can't handle my natural hair. In cultures, including hoodoo, your hair is your power. If you are wearing human hair, you are in fact wearing someone else's crown. A lot of that hair comes from sacrifices, it comes from religious purposes, or even negative circumstances. This means that you're not just buying beauty, you are buying the access to someone else's thoughts, energy, and spirit. Covering your natural hair, especially with someone else's hair so that you can look different from the way that God intended for you to look, can be symbolic of shame. When you hide what's naturally yours, you block your divine identity. It's cliche to say that natural hair is beautiful because no one wants to be known as the black person who doesn't like natural hair, who hates natural hair, because everyone is going to shame you. Everyone is going to cut you off and talk about you. They're going to take away your black card. Truth is, again, we can tell who likes their natural hair, who actually thinks that it's beautiful based off how they carry themselves and even their daughters. This right here is the spirit of shame, insecurity, and comparison at work. So just to go over a little bit of information about your hair and your head and what energy it holds, we're looking at our crown chakra connection. And the crown chakra sits at the top of your head, and it is the gateway between your mind as well as the divine. It governs clarity, purpose, and your connection to the Most High. When it's open and protected, you receive guidance, wisdom, and peace, as well as abundance in many ways. When it's blocked and manipulated, you're dealing with confusion, insecurity, and consistent spiritual attacks. There's a reason why in hoodoo, as well as other ATRs, why a lot of women and men will cover their hair, they will cover their head, because they're protecting their head from any outside energies. They're protecting their thoughts, they're protecting their mind. When we go into prayer, we cover our head to protect ourselves from any leeching energies that might want to connect itself to. In both scripture and spiritual practice, covering your head is a sign of protection. Even in the Bible, Paul talks about women covering their head during prayer. Now, the spirit of insecurity whispers you're not beautiful enough with your natural hair. The root is comparison to other women, usually social media driven, and the fruit is the constant need for validation and shame when uncovered. The spirit of vanity whispers you will only be admired if you look like this. This is why you see a lot of women saying black men don't like natural hair, which is a lie. The root is obsession with appearances over your inner spirit. The fruit is overspending on hair and beauty, never feeling satisfied, feeding on lust culture. You have the spirit of comparison and envy, and this whispers her hair is better than mine, so copy her. The root is looking to others for identity instead of God. The fruit is losing individuality, always chasing trends as well as inner jealousy. Then we have the spirit of confusion, which whispers switch up your look until you don't even know who you are. The root is constant identity shifting, tied to lack of self-acceptance. The fruit is mental fog, broken sense of self, and unstable self-image. I am reading back. Then you have the spirit of shame, and this whispers hide your natural hair, it's not good enough. And the root is traumas around childhood hair experiences like bullying, parental neglect, or rejection. And the fruit is hiding, avoiding intimacy with your hair, and never showing your true self. Then we're looking at the spirit of transfer, and this is foreign energies. The root is wearing human hair means you're literally carrying someone else's crown. And the fruit is absorbing their energy, thoughts, and struggles. Some hair comes from temple sacrifices, and this opens you up to foreign gods as well as spirits. In Hindu tradition, devotees shave their heads at the temple. The act of shaving and cutting their head is called tonsure and is done to sacrifice their hair to deities, often the Lord Venkateswara. And the meaning of them cutting their hair is to let go of pride, ego, and identity. And by giving this up, they're just offering their whole self to their God. So they're releasing old karmic patterns and past karmic situations and karma. So you're picking all of that up.
Call me ignorant, but there's just something that just doesn't sit right with me with the fact that we have a people group who have been taught and trained that they should grow their hair, cut their hair, and give it off as an offering and a sacrifice to their God. They give it as an offering and sacrifice to their God for answered prayer, and then that sacrifice is now repurposed by the temple. The temple takes that sacrifice and repurposes it and sells it, I guess, as a commodity to another people group. And this other people group that looks like this purchases this sacrifice as a product, but it's a product of beauty. It's a beauty product, but it belongs to somebody else. But that other person gave it up to their God. And now it's been sold to you to tell you that you're pretty, beautiful, look good. Just doesn't sit right with me.
Some of y'all to be like, everything is not spiritual. It's not. It is. My brother about to let y'all ladies know the truth about these wigs. Y'all listen carefully and share this video. Because I know y'all like to doll up and look right, but hey. I don't know who need to hear this, but you might want to start praying over the hair you put in your head and the wigs you put on. I used to be in the hair industry. A lady told me 15 years ago, Chinese lady, she used to make wigs. She told me where they would get all the real hair from. Abuse victims, women with cancer, women that went through all types of things, right? And she says it's amazing how black women never pray over the hair they get. And I said, damn, I never thought of that. You know, it's a spirit.
We enchant spirits into this air, and we hear the demons live.
You enchant demons?
Yes.
You invoke demons?
Yes.
Into what?
Into the weave-ons.
Into the weave-ons, the wigs that are being produced in China.
11,200 yuan.
Huh?
Yes.
You were paid 11,200 yuan.
That's like
yearly or monthly?
That's monthly. So if
that's how much in Naira?
That's the 2.
Because I know yuan is more than Nigeria. It's more than Naira.
2.2 million a month. Africa is one of the top continents that we deliver to. One of the job description is that we're not allowed to talk. Those kind of wigs now, it even causes marital issues. Because you're wearing wig, you're having issues with your husband. You have not been quarreling with your husband before. But all of a sudden, you started quarreling with your husband. What did you expect? You could have settled me. So I didn't even bother praying. So we just live like that. But all of a sudden, started having issues there about. It even causes envy.
So you mean now that this demonic air that people used to send from China?
Yes.
In this temple in southern India, thousands of devotees are preparing to make a rather unusual offering. Some of them have waited years for this moment, growing their hair before giving it to the gods. It is a sacred ritual for millions of Hindus.
My daughter was really sick. I vowed to donate my hair if she recovered.
Do you know what will happen to your hair?
No, I do not know, but it will be offered to the gods, and that's all that matters to me.
Every Saturday, thousands of pilgrims come to the Dwarka Tirumala temple to be shaved by one of the 95 barbers that work here. The pilgrims leave behind kilos of hair. The temple has turned the pilgrims' offerings into an incredibly lucrative business. Once cut, the hair is collected and then stored by the temple. It is then exported around the world to be used in wigs and hair extensions.
I don't know exactly what happens to the hair. The leaders of the temple take it and they sell it.
For how much?
Well, I know the temple makes about $1 million per year.
After it's collected at the temple, the hair is then transported to Ravindra Vanka's factory.
Mix the hair and separate the dark strands.
Every year, hundreds of tons of hair from several temples is treated here by the factory's 3,000 workers. The hair is washed, dried, and then sorted. The factory stocks hair of every kind
That's why it's important that a lot of you ladies, and I spoke about it on the last live, y'all need to be careful about that weave that y'all put in y'all hair.
Yes, I just said this. I just said that the other day.
Any kind of weave. Let me tell you something. Any kind of weave. Like I like to change my hair up. Like having locks at the beginning stages is always very difficult for anybody that's like me who likes to change their hair a lot because we still want to wear weave. We still want to rock braids. I will never put another piece of weave in my hair ever again. It doesn't matter if it's human. I don't do human hair at all, but I don't want to put none of that shit in my hair. The human hair that y'all are putting in y'all hair, y'all gotta know that there's all kinds of stuff that like there's all type of sigils and things that they're putting on top of this hair.
Help me narrow it down. Okay. Now, for starters, is whether it's Remy or not Remy. Remy is the jargon used by the industry to call the hair which is head and the tail portion are kept intact. It is from the temple.
It's temple hair.
Yes.
Okay.
My extensions were the same type of hair that was being processed in this factory. These ponytails had all been sacrificed at Hindu temples in a practice called tonsuring.
And y'all are putting it on y'all hair and putting it on your crown. It looked good, but look at how the transition, if you are someone who used to wear weave back in the day, definitely put it in the chat. If you used to wear the Milky Way before they came to Remy, when we used to just wear regular hair, tell me you have not noticed a difference in the actions, the mindset of women who wear a lot of this hair, mainly black women, but you know, Hispanic women wear weave, white women wear weave as well. But tell me, have you not, if you have noticed the attitude, the aggressiveness, the mindset that a lot of women are starting to have when they started switching over to wearing more weave all the time. I mean, like not a wig that you take off. You got women who are literally cutting the front of their hair off in order to put the wigs on.
Giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha HaKakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well in teaching me this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth that be likened to the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Ayashar Barzar from the Indianapolis branch of the Great Millstone, coming back at you with another lesson that is both edifying to the elect body of the nation of Israel and uplifting. All right, you just saw a plethora of videos. I'm going to call this one Wigs and Weave Are Destroying You, Eve. All right, and hey, the science and evidence was all there in all the videos. Okay, you can look it up yourself. But since there's an issue with men speaking to this, you know, the N-Dub has a problem with receiving instruction from her male counterpart. You know, hey, just let the ladies tell you, the ones who have experience with it as well also. But as you can see, the synthetic stuff is poisoning you, and then the human hair has curses on it, and it's you know, it's not good. It's not good, and we're seeing this. You have to remember, you know, Eve thinks everybody, you know, hey, they hate us as a nation, okay, both men and women, as a nation. All right, so I'm gonna start at 1 Corinthians 11, verse 3. All right, and there's a reason why I'm starting here. It says, verse 3. But I would have you to know that the head of every man is Hamashiach, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Hamashiach is Yahweh. Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head. All right. So when you men are praying or prophesying, your head is not to be covered. You know, that's another way you can tell that the people pretending to be us over in the land right now are not the people. They are clearly disobedient to this law because of that little beanie shit they got on the crown of their head. All right, small hat. All right. Verse 5. But every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head, for that is even all one as if she were shaven. Okay. Yeah, you're not supposed to have women are not supposed to have their head uncovered. Okay. Not supposed to have it uncovered. All right. Verse 6. For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn, and that word shorn means sheared or shaved off. Okay. But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered. Okay, that head is supposed to be covered. Verse 7. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. But the woman is the glory of the man. Verse 8. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. Okay, and this is a key role, especially you women that are being told about this these killer products. If it's coming directly from your husband, or that's either married according to Esau's rule, or if you're having sex with him. That's what marriage it is. It's sex. All right, that's your husband. No matter how you want to look at it, marriage license or not. If you didn't slept with him, that's your husband. Point blank. Period. All right. It says, for the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. All right. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angels. Nevertheless, neither is the man without the woman, neither the woman without the man in the Lord. For as the woman is of the man, that's through his seed, even so the man also by the woman through her womb. But all things are of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Judge in yourselves. Is it comely that a woman pray unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai uncovered? No. All right. All right. It says, doth not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him? It says, but if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given her for a covering. All right. And a lot of you women have long. You just, like one of the videos said, you're lazy. Don't want to do your hair. But you're going to put somebody else's hair that's not real, okay, and hair that's cursed on your head. All right. It does not make sense. All right. Your hair is your glory. Okay. And we know, according to the curse in Isaiah 3, he's going to cause baldness on your head, or scab. That's them bad edges, on your head. There's nothing that's the curse. But you're not supposed to put that other nonsense on your head. All right. If you suffer that curse, that means you were wicked in the past life. All right. Point blank. Period. Like all of us, none of us are without sin. As the scriptures say, our righteousness is as filthy rags. All right. But yeah, in Isaiah chapter 3, verses 16 through 24, you get those curses on a woman. Like I said, causing baldness on her head and a scab on it. All right. It is what it is. We understand you want to be protected, but you're gonna be praying. You got to cover that head. You got to cover that head. Point blank. Period. And that's not with somebody else's wicked or synthetic hair, which was shown in the video clips, is a danger to you either way. All right. Spiritually and actually physically. All right. You're not supposed to have that stuff. All right. This is the book of Sirach. And like I said, I'm not going to make this too long, because the videos did the heavy lifting for what I wanted to say. Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus, chapter 26, verse 14. All right. It says, a silent and loving woman is a gift of the Lord, and there is nothing so much worth as a mind well instructed. All right. And whether, your man is in the truth or he's not, if he's giving you advice, about putting those chemicals in your head, listen to him. Listen to him. But it's all vanity with you all. All right? You're supposed to be listening to that man. All right? Instead of giving him lip. Because this stuff is killing y'all. And they made it clear, no, some government intervention. The government ain't going to do shit. All right? If you haven't figured out by now that they have a hand in everything that is set to destroy us or cause our demise, we're seeing it right now in real time. I don't know what else to tell you. I don't know what else to tell you. Micah 2 and 10. All right, let me grab that. Then come back to that. Sirach 2 and 10. It says, "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest," meaning the foreign lands we were scattered to, especially America, Babylon the Great. Okay? The only time we will be at rest, as the scriptures say all over, from start to finish, we will be at rest when we're at home in our land. And we're not there yet. All right? Micah 2 and 10. "Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with the sword destruction." And that's what's happening. You all keep trying to find good in this place, and it's not. It's not going to happen. The majority of the people understand that we are the true people of the scriptures, the chosen people of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? But you trying to make it here. And that's a problem. Instead of trying to be part of we the people, do what's necessary to be his people. All right? Because that we the people is not gonna it's on a short leash right now. And the whole world can see it. Even their own. All right? So when it says that means come back to the law, statute, arise ye and depart, come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. Because when that day hits, if you're not having faith and doing what you're supposed to do, you have a missile with your name on it. This is Judges 5. And 11. It says, "They that are delivered from the noise of the archers and the places of drawing water." And the noise of the archers, that's those nuclear missiles flying by. Scriptures tell you all the time it's those arrows. Okay? It says, "They that are delivered from the noise of the archers and the places of drawing water," that's where we're in servitude, right here in Babylon the Great. Luke 3 and 8 says we're yet to this day in our captivity, subject to payments. Okay? It says, "There shall they rehearse the righteous acts of the Lord." Okay? Having faith, doing your best to keep the law, statutes, and the commandments. Okay? It says, "Even the righteous acts towards the inhabitants of his villages in Israel, then shall the people of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai go down to the gates." All right? So we're supposed to be rehearsing the righteous acts in this land. All right? All the way to the end. The scriptures say, "He that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved." All right? But as you can see, Eve, this is not some good stuff for you all. All right? And even the natives who put the curses on this stuff explained it to you. Yet you buy it. It's $1 billion industry. It's, you're literally paying for your own demise when you wear that shit. All right? And I don't know how many times the guys keep saying that they don't like it. We can't even tell the difference between you all and drag queens now. I saw an old clip of one of those shows from the 90s. I think it was like Montel Williams or what was her name? Ricky Lake in the 90s. And you look in the audience, all the women were natural. You know, they had the perm and stuff, and that's been talked about too. You know, that stuff seeps into your skull. But it was your own hair. Okay? Dress modestly. You know? The makeup, you know, you didn't have to, you weren't contouring your face. You all using the same shit the drag queens are using. Thinning out your nose, heightening your cheekbones. That wasn't happening in the 80s and 90s, especially in the 70s. You know, everything was all natural. But now you know, you putting in, you know, now that I say that, I wouldn't be surprised if that makeup is doing the same thing to y'all. All right, and the eyelashes. We've seen that what the eyelashes do. You know, all that glue over time. That shit is not right. All right. So I'm gonna go and close out with this one. This is Sirach with Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha 26, and I think it was 26. Con. All right. It says, "A woman that honoreth her husband shall be judged wise of all, but she that dishonoreth him in her pride shall be counted ungodly of all." And I say that, I go back to that first Corinthians 11 and 3. You know, the man in the divine order is the head of the woman. All right. If you listen to him regarding this stuff, you know, he's keeping your body away from harm as well as your spirit. All right. But if you don't, because of your pride, you're going to be counted ungodly of all. You know, and that, as we know, a lot of that hair that's being made, the human hair, is not godly at all anyway. It has false gods on it. And when I say godly, of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, first of all, you're not supposed to be wearing the stuff that's synthetic or belonging to some other nation. You know, just fucked up. All right, so that's gonna be it for this video. You know, hey, take heed. I know a lot of you don't believe in Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, but that's cool too. You're gonna destroy your ass anyway. All right, so with that, I hope this lesson was edifying to the elect body of the nation of Israel. Once again, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha Kakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well in teaching me this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth, that be like it to the speckled bird, known as the Israelite foreigners, and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, I say Shalom, Kwam Yasharallah, Abba Babal. Shalom. We got next.